Hey, let me quickly check in with just north of Nowhere, where I have to excuse me while I have a little brief break where I intercept somebody who has decided to grab a Starbucks cap. I'm gambling that if I track him down long enough, he will drop the cup and we can stop bothering people. All right. Sorry. This is what you get for recording in the wild. Wild Havanese grab empty Starbucks cups and start bashing them around in the backyard, disturbing all and sundry. Yes, let me just check in with North of Nowhere, where I think I talked about the rabbi making a golem at the kind of prodding of a priest, Father Joe, and in this episode, because we've had a kind of in between a kid who's killed people and wants to bring other people to the land of death before he goes there himself. In this episode, a killer shows up, but it's not somebody with mental problems, mental illness problems who's doing it, but somebody who is a paid killer, and he has been paid by a client who's only goes by the name of Reb, and he thinks looking around the country, it's like, oh, it's Rebel. It's probably some mouth-breathing, kind of heavy-set, kind of corpulent, bearded dude, and kind of rebel country, kind of that kind of thing, southern rebel country. No, it's the rabbi, Rebbe, who has hired him to take care of the golem for him. And in the end of the story, the golem comes, and the next thing we know is the kid's kind of saying like, oh my god, there's a dead body in the thing, and it doesn't have a heart. Now the thing is, it cuts out at the very end with, is the golem ripping out this guy's heart, or did they pull the tag out of the golem's mouth and it's the golem who never had a heart to begin with? Kind of left up in the air there. I guess we'll have to find out. Well, it's only one body, because if it would be two bodies, if it was the rabbi, though maybe the golem couldn't actually kill the rabbi because that's the creator, his creator. I don't know. So there's that. And then we get the story, kind of Enerd's backstory. He is the town auto mechanic who has a very up close and personal kind of almost psychic link with the cars that he seems to build. He's an orphan. His father drove one of the slaughterhouse trucks, but one of the steers burst out of the truck, smashed onto the cab. His father wasn't that smart. He kind of pulled over and kind of like, okay, I'll just wait for like a minute and see what happens, at which point, after about 30 seconds, the steer comes down and squishes his head, drives his hat right through his skull, and so he's dead. And then his mother drops dead trying to parallel park. So both kind of vehicular in nature. He ends up, after having a little bit of time in Ward, just kind of walks away, ends up finding a wreck washed up, a car, a dragon, something, a Kaiser dragon washed up on the shore, like kind of entombed in mud. And he breaks a window and gets in, and the car ends up talking to him, and he kind of builds it. He gets it all. He gets a job at the local Amco, which he will, as an adult, he will buy out when the former owner dies. Gets a job there, and slowly learns enough, gets enough tools to actually kind of build it enough. But in the end, it's purring, and it's just like it's kind of joyous that way, but it's immersed in mud. He's only seen this tiny little bit of it. He can't see the oil pan, the struts, the tires, all this stuff is all just beyond his thing. And he cries, and he goes off to the army. And the army actually teaches him by the book, and then by being an actual practical mechanic about being a mechanic. And he comes back, and they call him a bum because he's kind of looks things, and he's got terrible. He has no. He's just like his witty response to like finding out that the dragon Kaiser had been towed away years ago is like fuck you to the cop, which they just call him a bum. It's like, I lived in that car. Well, then you're definitely a vagrant. You're definitely a bum. And but he's got money, and so he's got money to buy out the station when it comes along. And we had a long thing at the beginning where it's like people were like, well, I'm not going to fucking buy gas there. It's way more too expensive because he charges way more, but he doesn't want to. He just wants to fix cars. And he's the only game in a good wide circum thing. So that's what he does. And he charges an arm and a leg to do it, but he's really good at it. And sometimes Bunch, who's comes up in all these stories, they'll pull him in to try and do things, but he's not somebody who is in tune with cars in the way that this guy is. And this guy is really in tune, like hears them, they talk to him in a kind of a fantasy horror kind of, they talk to him Christine kind of way. I don't know if it's Christine, but we'll see. But yeah, that's so far of what I've got in these sections of Just North of Nowhere, which I'm trying to do a little bit more chatty about, so I can actually have stuff to talk about. I can more easily recall it and talk about it when perhaps doing a regular review. All right, I will leave it there. More videos later.